71% of people are watching at the 30-second mark, which means 29% of people have already dropped off. That's an extremely high amount of people in your audience. But if that were 65%, that would potentially spell complete doom for this video. If that were 79%, that could get YouTube to recommend this video to an extraordinarily higher number of people. Then you have some sort of structure. So you have like something to keep people to the end. What worked for us at first is our rankings list. If people wanted to see what number 1 was, they would watch all the way to the end. But now, we do a lot more storytelling and structure in our video. So we're doing like a big run and it'll pay off at the end. And those videos tend to do extraordinarily well. And then you also want to make sure that at the end, there isn't like a disappointing ending, because you want people to like your video and come back and want to watch another one. Jay has a question. What's up?
Actually, no, the question's on my right.
Okay. I have 2 questions.
Yes.
One is, can you send us these slides to have?
Yes, Jay has them. He can send them out.
Okay. So I'm curious about the difference between long form and YouTube short. You're saying if you can keep it to 30 seconds, the chance of retention and stuff is much better. So what do you think is better? Especially if someone's starting out like them, should they focus more on long form, or should they try to do shorts? Do you take your long form and cut it into shorts?
I do. So, my recommendation is, if you have the bandwidth, invest in a long form. People will get to know you better. There have been studies shown that if you watch short form, you will forget what you've just watched immediately. If you want people to know who you are, if you want to build that relationship with your audience, in my opinion, long form is the better way to do it with a lower audience. With short form, you need a much, much bigger audience to really make a splash. And at least for me, I found that in terms of going and building a relationship and being able to pivot into selling and running trips, I was able to make that because people had dedicated, 10 minutes at a time for a video, and they had focused their attention on peak rankings and peak rankings only. With a short form situation, you might only have someone on your content for 30 seconds, then they're gonna forget about you. And I would also say that plays out in terms of how you get monetized. With YouTube, with long form, you can make a pretty significant amount of money just from long form people watching your content. With short form, with TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram, you make pennies compared to how much you make on YouTube for the amount of views that you get. So my recommendation is, if you don't have the time, and if selling something that doesn't require a big commitment is your goal, short form may be better. For me, I honestly have had a lot more success with long form than short form, so I'm probably biased. But yeah, I would also say that we have had all of our success in short form because we've literally just chopped up our long form videos and put them into shorts on Instagram and TikTok. So that's worked well for us there.
One more
yes.
Introduction. So when you do say long form, are you saying, because when I watch some of this stuff, I'm thinking my son and what these younger kids watch too, or we watch a lot of Outdoor Boys. And his stuff could be up to an hour and a half long watching this stuff. So when you say long form, would it be anything 5 minutes, 10 minutes long, or up to an hour and a half, or is there a...
Yeah, normally, the rule of thumb is most serious creators on YouTube will make their videos longer than 8 minutes. If you make it shorter than 8 minutes, you can't show ads in the middle of the video, and so it's not very lucrative to make videos that are shorter than that. I kind of started out making 5, 6, 7 minute videos, and then eventually, as I got more serious and learned a lot of lessons, it got to the point where it is very rare for my channel to have a video that is under 15 minutes long. And so most of the videos that we have now are between 15 and 50 minutes, and it normally is between 20 and 30. That's the average.
Great, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Has the advent, and I don't know if it's the creator that's doing it, but now I'm noticing more and more on YouTube the chapters.
Yes.
Like if you're doing a top 10, each one has its own chapter.
Yeah.
So if you're not interested in the first ones, you could just
Yeah.
forward
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, chapters are great. So chapters are not just great for retention, because like if someone's getting a little bored, they could potentially scroll to the next chapter rather than clicking off the video entirely. But the other thing is they also help with SEO. So if you have chapters, YouTube can read the content of the language of the chapters, and it'll know whether or not you're talking, well, actually at this point with AI, YouTube has your entire transcript, and so they'll use that in search results as well. But like, you know, if I'm doing a ranking list of the ski resorts in New Hampshire, and Black Mountain is one of them. In the description, if Black Mountain's there, YouTube will be able to pick up on that and put that in the Black Mountain search results.
Can you teach us how, when we're scrolling, how do we tell an AI video from a regular video so we don't waste our time looking at an AI?
Well, nowadays there is a much higher chance of a video being AI if it is animated. And really, I mean, there's still some animated creators out there, but they've, for the most part, been decimated by the rise of AI slop. So if you see a stick figure in the title and thumbnail, chances are it is probably now an AI video, unfortunately. People, if it's a live video and there are actual people in it, for a 20-minute video, it's probably unlikely that it's going to be an AI video. But sometimes, you know, like you'll have videos where they show pictures of things, or it's just a slideshow. And honestly, like there are a few things related to AI that you could use in order to kind of figure this out. AI voiceovers have not figured out the proper tone and, you know, some of the wording that they use. Exactly. They'll mispronounce names.
They accent the wrong
Exactly. So a lot of times you can figure that out within the first 30 seconds, and then, you know, it's just you building the relationship with the channels that you like. And, you know, at this point, like, I watch a lot of YouTube, and sometimes I'll click on a video and I won't realize it's AI until like a minute or two in. And sometimes you just have to accept that you will lose that minute to AI slop. Unfortunately, AI has gotten good at making interesting videos at times. So, you know, you can't really, we're in a new world where AI is a much bigger part of it. And so, yeah, you can't always,
I have another question.
yeah.
So skiing and snowboarding related, like maybe
Uh-huh.
having to like keep brain things. Do you see certain categories that are more saturated or that are like in need? Like so if we were gonna put this out, it's like what are the top 10 are people interested in seeing? Or what are they, what's like already saturated? Like, you know, like do we want to still do stuff that's like top 10 resorts in the Northeast, or are they more interested in like seeing, you know, these guys really firsthand, like out there skiing on their own, like
Yeah.
what do you see to be like the future
Yes.
getting the most views in this, like this industry?
Yeah. Well, I would say for the most part, it's not going to be mountain reviews of places like Black Mountain, unless you can come up with an emotional reason for someone who's not like a diehard skier to click on it. So what I would say is there have been a handful of mountain reviews that we've done that have done extraordinarily successfully. And I'll bring up 3 of them. One of them was our Zermatt video. We did one on Zermatt and reviewing it. That one actually didn't do well at first, but over time I think it ended up doing pretty well. I think part of it is because Zermatt is such a beautiful place. People were captivated by the footage, so it had a much higher average view duration than our other mountain reviews. The other thing is Zermatt is so well known that people were searching it up on, you know, YouTube search more than average. And so that helps quite a bit. And then I think the third thing is the fact that it just ended up being a video that people didn't really have any other resources for. Like no one in Switzerland had an English review of Zermatt. So there's very little in terms of competition, and it's just such a popular resort. The second mountain review that did really well was Kicking Horse in British Columbia. And that is a place I imagine almost nobody in this room has ever been. But that one, we used certain superlatives because of just how insane that resort was. So we, instead of calling it Mountain Review Kicking Horse, we called the title Kicking Horse Might Be the Most Insane Ski Resort We've Ever Visited, or something like that. And then the thumbnail said Canada's Scariest Resort and had like a line going down this huge cliff face. So people wanted to click on that, I think, just because it was like the ultimate of something. Like it was the best or the top or the most extreme. So that was the second one that did pretty well. Then the third one, actually, Mount Bohemia, Michigan. So that is by far the most successful American ski resort review that we put up in the recent future, or in the recent past. And so for that one, we took advantage of the fact that they used triple black diamonds, and the thumbnail said only ski resort with triple blacks within a 1,000-mile radius. And it highlighted the extreme terrain zone there. And then the title said Mount Bohemia is the ski resort that broke all the rules. So yeah, basically those are the ones that were basically talking about pretty niche topics and appeal to a wider audience. Stephanie, I don't know if that answered your question, but okay.
You're creating desire. What you got is a desire between the thumbnails and the titles, and then you got to deliver the content. But you're getting people the desire to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lust for the video, for lack of a better term. But it's like, oh yeah, what's this thing about Bohemia? I want to see it.
Yeah, you want to create the curiosity gap is what it's widely known as. So like, what would someone get out of clicking this video? What are you going to learn that you didn't know before clicking it? So if you can do that, that's a really useful way to get people to click. And then this hook right here, that's when you show the audience that you're satisfying that desire. You're going to. And then after that, you just have the story structured in a way to get people to continue watching.
So maybe it would be a good idea for like somebody like Greg and I on our Facebook page, instead of just posting our videos, we should post them to YouTube and then post the link on
Yeah, but after a while, if you have a successful YouTube page, you won't even need to post it on Facebook. Like, you'll get 20 times the audience just from the YouTube algorithm.
But the Facebook page keeps us in touch with the people.
Right. Yeah. From that perspective, post it on YouTube and then post the link on Facebook. Yeah, exactly. And then the final stage, and this is the one that you guys alluded to having a little bit of trouble with earlier, is consistency. And so you want to make sure that you have the content to create a long-term roadmap for your channel, but you also want to make sure that you're not like overdoing it at one point. You want to space it out enough. If you have limited content, you want to make sure that it's consistent enough that people instinctively know when to watch. So with Peak Rankings, we try to post like once a week normally. It's not perfect, but we try our best, and people can usually expect a video once a week. What I would recommend for someone who's trying to take this seriously and grow their channel is to map out a content plan. We currently use Notion. It's a project management tool. We use that to map out our content for the entire winter. And you can always revise it if needed. And don't overextend on the amount of bandwidth that you have. If you start with an unsustainable schedule, you're just going to burn out. And you don't want to do that. And then some of your videos aren't going to succeed. So just don't give up when they don't succeed. Just learn from what didn't work. And yeah, I guess what I wanted to kind of leave you guys with is, I designed this exercise to come up with a 6-month content plan so that you have the channel ready to go. You know what you're going to do. Even if like 3 months in, you're totally struggling, you're not actually getting your views, you still have the next 3 months of that plan, set in stone, or as a template to revise from. Yeah.
See, like it's got to be well mapped out ahead of time.
Yeah.
What we're going to do during the summer.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we keep current and keep new things coming?
Totally.
That we can
Yeah.
Be editing more
Yeah, well,
conceptualizing.
I told you, that's what that Matthew Zabransky does
Yeah.
with Midwest skiers.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a YouTube, and it's obvious he goes out,
Yeah.
he's shooting next year's stuff today.
Mm-hmm.
He was going out to the
That's how you have to do it.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you want to have high quality editing, graphics,
Yeah.
effects, music,
Mm-hmm.
all that, it doesn't. You just don't have video in stir. You got to think it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much this is my formula for growing Peak Rankings to now 97,000 followers on YouTube. Expanding to running
Well, like
15 trips a year.
Because I've been watching you for about 3 or 4 years, and just
Yeah.
all the content stuff that you guys produce. I love watching you grow too as you start
Cool.
to get into the trips. And
Yeah, thank you.
get more people involved.
Are there any more questions from everybody for Sam? Sam, do you have any closing thoughts?
I would just say YouTube is probably one of the most demanding from an operational standpoint platforms to grow a channel on, but from an actual difficulty perspective, if you have the consistency, if you have the dedication, it's the easiest one to break into because there's so much less competition and the payoff monetarily is extraordinary. So I would just say follow these 4 steps, and the 4th one's by far the hardest, but follow these 4 steps and you're setting yourself up for success. So thank you all for coming.
And thank you, Sam, for a terrific presentation and for all the hard work you're putting in at NASDA.
Thank you, Jay.
Everybody go over to peakrankings.com and subscribe to his website and subscribe to his YouTube channel. You will learn a great deal. And all I have to say is we couldn't have done better if we were trying to find the nicest kid and the best friend in the place and got a terrific journalist
Thank you,
along
Jay.
with it.
Thank
So,
you.
Terrific, thanks. Coming up next, VJ Q.
Oh no.
Thank you, Greg.